Punc comes from the Latin noun punctum, meaning point. A period is a form of punctuation that's literally a point, and a punctured tire has been pricked by a sharp point. Punctilious, very careful about the details of codes or conventions. A proofreader has to be punctilious about spelling and punctuation. A punctilio is a small point, a minor rule, or a little detail of conduct in a ceremony. A person who pays close attention to such minor details is punctilious. Punctiliousness can be valuable, especially for certain kinds of tasks, as long as you don't become so concerned about small points that you fail to pay attention to the large ones. Punctual, being on time, prompt. The company had become much more punctual under the new president, and every meeting started precisely on time. The original meaning of punctual described a puncture made by a surgeon. The word has meant lots of other things through the centuries, usually involving being precise about small points. And today punctuality is all about time. A punctual train or a punctual payment or a punctual person shows up on the dot. Compunction. 1. Anxiety caused by guilt. 2. A slight misgiving. Speeding is something many people seem to do without compunction, their only concern being whether they'll get caught. Compunction is most often used in describing people who don't feel it, that is, who aren't stung or pricked by conscience. Ruthless businessmen steal clients and contracts from other businessmen without compunction, and hardened criminals have no compunctions about armed robbery and worse. Notice how compunction can be used in a non-countable way, like guilt, he killed without compunction, or in the plural, like qualm, she had no compunctions about lying. But words like guilt, qualm, regret, remorse, doubt, and unease, unlike compunction, are often used when talking about people who actually suffer from them. Acupuncture, a method of relieving pain or curing illness by inserting fine needles through the skin at specific points. As a last resort, he agreed to try acupuncture treatment with Dr. Liu, and his pain vanished like magic. In Latin, acus means needle, and the English word acupuncture was coined way back in the 17th century to describe a technique the Chinese had already been using for 2,000 years. An acupuncturist may insert many extremely fine needles at a time. The treatment is usually uncomfortable but not truly painful. In China today, even major surgery is often carried out using only acupuncture to kill the pain. It's also used for many other conditions, including insomnia, depression, smoking, and overweight. Acupuncture is based on ancient theories of bodily energy that few Western doctors have ever accepted, but even though attempts to explain its effects by Western science have been unsuccessful, it's now widely recognized by doctors as effective for pain reduction. Pot comes from the Latin adjective potens, meaning able. Our English word potent means powerful or effective, whether for good or bad. A potent new antibiotic might be able to deal with infections that have developed resistance to older drugs. An industrial gas might be identified as a potent contributor to climate change, and a potent drink might leave you staggering. Potential. 1. The possibility that something will happen in the future. 2. A cause for hope. If the plan works, we'll be millionaires, but the potential for disaster is high. Potential can be either good or bad. Studying hard increases the potential for success, but wet roads increase the potential for accidents. But when a person or thing has potential, we always expect something good from it in the future. As an adjective, as in potential losses, potential benefits, etc., potential usually means simply possible. In science, however, the adjective has a special meaning. Potential energy is the kind of stored energy that a boulder sitting at the top of a cliff has, the opposite of kinetic energy, which is what it has as it rolls down that cliff. Impotent, lacking power or strength. The government now knows it's utterly impotent to stop the violence raging in the countryside, and has basically retreated to the capital city. A police department may be impotent to stop the flow of drugs into a neighborhood. A group of countries may be impotent to force another country to change its human rights policies. The impotence of a prime minister may be shown by her inability to get an important piece of legislation passed. Impotent and impotence may also have a special meaning when they refer to a man's inability to have sexual intercourse. Plenipotentiary, a person, such as a diplomat, who has complete power to do business for a government. In the Great Hall, in the presence of the Empress, the plenipotentiaries of 4 European nations put their signatures on the treaty. Back in the 12th century, when the Roman Catholic Church in some ways resembled the powerful Roman Empire that had come before it, the Church revived the Roman concept of an official with plenipotence, full powers, to negotiate agreements, see ple/plen. Whereas an ambassador could only make offers that a faraway ruler had specified, often weeks or months earlier, a plenipotentiary could negotiate an entire agreement without checking back constantly with his ruler. Today, with instant electronic communications, this distinction has generally lost its importance, but there are still ambassadors who wouldn't be allowed at a negotiating table. Potentate, a powerful ruler. After 18 years as president of the college, he wielded power like a medieval potentate, and no one on the faculty or staff dared to challenge him. Like such titles as Grand Vizier, Caliph, and Khan, potentate summons up thoughts of absolute rulers of an earlier age in such lands as Turkey, Persia, and India. It often suggests a person who uses power or authority in a cruel and unjust way, that is, a tyrant. Today, though it's still used as a title by the organization called the Shriners, it's more often used humorously: Supreme Intergalactic Potentate, Potentate of Pasta, etc.